Okay.
All right. Hi again, you guys. We're back at it again with these recorded videos. Our last of them, which is exciting and also sad. You guys have worked very hard, and I'm hoping that Bradley will be able to, answer all your questions, and we'll have a great time. He'll actually be able to play some stuff for you at the end as well. So, Bradley, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing?
Hi, my name's Bradley. I live in Dayton, Ohio. It's close to where the Reds are at. I play drums for a living, which is a cool thing to say. I'm a freelance musician, so I play in musicals, I play with jazz bands, I play with rock bands, I played with the Jimmy Buffett band. What else? I teach one day a week, and, I get paid to play drums, which is something, if I was 12 years old, I would have said that's a dream come true. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Bradley is one of the best. This is just a little Miss Fetter side note. Bradley's one of the best drummers I've ever heard. So I'm hoping if we have time at the end that we can hear a little bit of his amazingness. So let's hop right in. So we have actually, might actually get through this in a quick fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So the very first question that you guys asked a lot of good questions again. I mean, I was reading through these and I was just like, wow, I couldn't answer them. So I'm very happy. Bradley will hopefully be able to.
I hope I can.
Yeah, that'd be great. So the first one was, why is it called percussion?
So percussion comes from a Latin word that's something like percussion, percussionum. It basically means a striking, a blow, because that's like what you do with percussion. You hit things. It's I like to joke that I hit things for a living, so
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so Micah asked this next question. What is the newest percussion instrument?
So that's a really hard one to answer, and there really isn't a good answer for that one. So there's percussion instruments being created all the time, especially if you're playing in what we call like a percussion ensemble. So you got all your keyboards, your timpani, all these different types of drums. There's all new sounds that people are creating all the time.
Oh, cool. So there's not really there is not one newest one?
No, there's not really just one newest one. I mean, someone probably created something today. I mean, with percussion, it's just that way, If you see something and you want to hit it and you're like, oh, I want to write that in my marching band music, go for it.
Cool. I actually didn't know that. It was that fluid. Cool. Lucy asks, why do they have different sounds to them?
So there's basically two different types of percussion, if you will. There's the ones that we hit, that when we hit them, we actually hit the thing that rings. So like a bell kit, maybe a xylophone, cymbals, a cowbell. I have a couple of cowbells here. I have a lot of cymbals here too. They're out of the shot. So those are very specialized in that they pretty much make one sound. Like you can't really change it. And then you got the other ones, which we call membranophones, which is it's membrane, so like a head. It's when you stretch a head across the drum and you hit it. That's every drum ever. And there's a lot of different ways you can hit it, actually. I have a couple different little toys here with us. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Maybe not. So these are your drumsticks, your classic drumsticks, like everyone knows and loves, that you've all seen everywhere. And we got a couple other ones. These are called roots. R-U-T-E. I use these primarily so I play at a contemporary Christian worship band, and so I use these a lot. Say we're backing someone who may be praying, it's a quieter moment, and these are great for that when you don't want to go to, say, brushes or something else. And speaking of brushes, these are brushes. They're not hair brushes. You don't take them through your hair. If you did take them through your hair would be black, because if you ever look at a drum head, a guy who plays brushes a lot, his heads are always black. It's just the way what happens. They can have so these ones have a rubber handle, this thing right here. There can also be wood, there can be plastic, kind of anything. You've also got your timpani mallets, so these are pretty hard up here. Don't touch that. That's bad. Don't do that. This fetter will yell at you if you do that. You don't want to touch them because it makes the little hairs, you probably see a little guy right there, that makes them fly off, and then you have to replace them, and they're expensive, and I've had these since I was in high school. So, yeah. And then you also have your marimba mallets, which, again, are hard but don't have as much of the fluffiness on it. Marimba mallets are usually made, there's a little rubber ball inside, and then they put this cord around the outside. So they all kind of sound different. You'll see timpani mallets used a lot on drum set, especially in jazz, like different sounds. These, as far as drum set goes, you're not going to see all that much. I mainly use them for like simple rolls, stuff that sounds like this, stuff like that. Yeah, so that's kind of your different. We call them implements, sticks, whatever you want to call them. That's how they all kind of. That's kind of what I use them for. The brushes are mainly used in jazz. Like I play a restaurant gig, so my restaurant gig, I play those 90% of the night until the crowd gets loosened up.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a really long way to say that.
No, you're fine. Would you be able to play a little bit with each of them?
Yes, I would. Let me change the microphone over here.
Sure.
So you can actually hear them and not through this mic. So I'm not going to be really able to talk that well. I'll try to yell. I'm going to start.
We can always switch back too afterwards.
Yes, I will do. I will switch back here.
Okay.
We'll start with the sticks. So sticks.
Bradley, can you turn up the mic a little bit?
Yes, I can. How's that? Is that better?
It's still kind of quiet.
Alright, smell okay. So you can see how those sound different. They're softer sounding. They're great for being behind stuff. I'll play the sticks again, just so you can hear this. Sticks, brushes. Timpani mallets. And marimba mallets. And those are the hi-hats. Yeah.
Nice, awesome. So the next question is also one that I heard a lot. Why are they made out of metal and wood?
So metal and wood is actually not the only thing you can make a drum out of. Gasp! I know, shocking. Those are just the two most common, and even within wood and metal, there's a lot of different ones. So like my drums here, these are made out of maple. You'll see drums made out of maple, birch, mahogany, even like different woods from Africa, zebra wood, rosewood. There's a lot. There's a lot. And then metal, you'll see brass, you'll see copper, bronze, stainless steel, steel, titanium. I'm sure there are more than that. Those are just the most common ones. Again, that's just kind of what you make drums out of. That's just the tradition. I mean, you think that like most drums come from Africa, like they're making drums out of wood and stretching and skin across his head, and they're hitting them. That's just kind of what they had. That's just the most common thing, and those resonate really well. That's the other reason. They create a nice resonant tone, and they're different. Like the metal drums usually do not resonate as long, and they're usually a brighter timbre, where the wood drums are darker and resonate longer. But you will also see drums made out of other things. You'll see fiberglass, acrylic plastic, even carbon fiber.
Cool. Yeah, I actually didn't know that. There's so many different materials you can make them out of. I guess that makes sense because there's a ton of different instruments.
And then even like the cymbals, they could be made. They're made out of a specific bronze alloy called B20. B20 bronze, or is it bronze? Yeah, it's bronze. Yeah, it's bronze. B20 bronze, but you also see them made out of brass. Just depend, and there's different bronze alloys as well, like B8, B12. I've even seen B16. B20 though is the most common. That's the one you're going to hear the most.
Nice. So I'm going to skip down to number 13, kind of a good segue about cymbals. Lucas in 5th grade asked, how much do cymbals weigh?
Every cymbal weighs so we measure cymbals in grams, not pounds. Cymbals can weigh anything from 100 grams, which is a little cymbal about yay big, to this guy. This cymbal I'm going to show you is actually it's written on the bottom. It is 2,406 grams. It is 22 inches in diameter, and it costs a lot of money. Don't
drop it.
No, I'm not going to. So yeah, that and then you see over 3,000 grams in the heavier right cymbals that are played in rock bands.
Wow. Nice. They have to be pretty easy to move, though, probably.
Yeah, this is why I have it. We have a lot of drummers have what we call cymbal bags with wheels, and
there you go.
save the back.
All right. A lot of you guys asked also, why are there so many drums?
It's because, like that earlier question, we're making them all the time. So like on a drum set, you'll see different specific, especially in the progressive rock genre, you will see drummers with massive drum kits, maybe 30 drums. There's one drummer by the name of Terry Bozzio who has all these drums that are 8 inches in diameter, but they're chromatically tuned. So, they're all kind of like a piano, go down. All the drums are tuned to a note, which is very uncommon for a drum. It's an unpitched instrument. Yeah, they tune them to a pitch, That's kind of the thing with percussion. You also see guys like Neil Peart, the late Neil Peart of the band Rush. He had an acoustic drum set in the front, and then his riser he sat on, it would turn around, and then it'd have an electronic kit. And he would just, and some guys even add timpani and gongs and, all that cool stuff.
Wild. That actually segues really, really well into the next question. Is there a limit? Grace asks, is there a limit on the number of drums on a drum set?
Oh, well, how much you can carry, how much you like it. So like the touring musicians, they have what we call a tech or a roadie. You've probably heard of a roadie. Safer to keep them in a box. Roadies, as much as you're willing to pay them, you can have as big of a kit as you want. It doesn't really matter. As long as you got room on the plane, room on the bus, room on the stage, that's really the limiting factor. Now, if you're moving your own gear, I like to move as little as possible. It saves the back. This stuff's heavy. Don't move a ton of stuff. Oh, I think the phone's ringing. Don't worry about that.
Nice. Let's do number 22. Ben and a lot of other people asked, what was the first percussion instrument and what did it look like?
So the first percussion instrument, really, if we want to be totally technical, it's just like finger snapping, clapping your hands. And, that was really the first instrument. And then to be 100% honest, I don't know what the first drum looked like because there aren't pictures.
I looked that up too. I couldn't find them, so I was hoping you could, but maybe not.
No luck on my end either. I tried looking it up too. I do know there are so many different hand drums that come out of Africa that it probably looked something like that. I don't have my hand drum here. That is an African hand drum. It is not here.
Yeah. Cool. What was the one about the... Oh, I thought you'd appreciate this one because drum machines. Electronic music makers in the percussion family. Philip asked that question.
Yes. I have a shirt that Miss Fetter's referring to that says "Drum machines have no soul." It's the drum machine came about in the late 1970s. It was called the Lynn drum machine. To me, it's a great tool to use if you're writing a song and you're not a drummer and you don't claim to be. It's a great tool for that. Like, I want to map something out. You kind of push buttons, and I've never really used one, but it's like you push buttons and then you hit play and then you have a drum groove. And from there on, it took off with that, and then also sampling of different bands. So sampling is when you take something that has previously been recorded and then like re-record it and then put it on your own track. So that's in a lot of early hip hop, rap music. There's one specific groove that we used in a bunch of them, and that guy didn't get a dime out of it. It's terrible. But and then he died, and no one knew who he was. It's also pretty common. So, like I said, I do a lot of musical theater, percussion work, and so it's pretty common in those shows for these guys to have what we call octopads, which what they sound like. It's 8 electronic drum pads that you can assign a sound to, kind of like a keyboard, a piano, and then you can change the sound. Like you could say, I want this one to be a xylophone, and I want this one to be a snare drum. It's whatever you want. And then also percussionists will be asked a lot of times to trigger different things. So we call it a metronome, like a metronome will be asked to control. And some drummers in live shows, like I can't remember what, it's Shakira. the drummer for Shakira actually has a foot called a foot trigger, so it looks like it's something you hit with your foot. We do that too as drummers. That is an explosion that he's supposed to hit whenever she jumps in the air. That is no joke. That is dead serious.
Whoa, are you serious?
Dead serious. You can look that up.
That's so. We're going to get on a tangent there.
Yeah, we could go off. We could go on and on about the different things drummers are in charge of.
Yeah. So, a lot of people also ask the difference between a xylophone and a vibraphone. Can I take this one, and can you correct me if I'm wrong?
Yes, I can. Or you can.
So, vibraphone. We talked about this, guys. Come on. The vibraphone has metal keys and a pedal that sustains the sound. The xylophone does not. Correct?
That's exactly right.
Woohoo! Okay, cool. Next question. Why did the drums in the drum kit have to be different sizes? Catherine asks.
So this kind of goes back to the pitched, unpitched thing. With drum set players, we're usually thinking like we're thinking we want to have a wide spectrum of drum sounds. We want to have high drum sounds and low drum sounds. And the same thing goes with cymbals. We want high cymbal sounds and low cymbal sounds. And so all the different sizes are mainly used for color. All the drum, if you were to take away all the pieces of the drum kit and just use what you would actually have to use, you'd have 3 pieces. You'd have the hi-hat cymbals right here. You'd have a bass drum, the thing that goes boom, and the snare drum, which is where you clap in like rock music. All that other stuff, all the cymbals, all the toms, we call them toms. They're the pitched drums, or unpitched drums that are tuned in a manner that they are pitched, that you will see on a drum kit. Those are all for color, and it's just to make sure that you don't have 2 frequencies talking over each other. You don't want to have like 2 drums of the same pitch because it's kind of pointless. At least as a drummer, it's like that's just like why are you why are you lugging around something that you don't need to be? You know?
Yeah. So while we're kind of on that topic, this is not one of the questions, but can you? I explained this to them from just like a music teacher's point of view, but maybe as a drummer you have a different definition. Can you explain the difference between pitched and unpitched percussion?
So as a percussionist, pitch to me means that it is written on, I'm assuming Miss Feder has talked to you about like music notation and correct me if I'm wrong, but like treble clefs and bass clefs. Is that stuff you've talked about?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, yeah. So with pitched percussion, it is all going to be notated like a specific note on a specific line. Like you're going to have a B flat on here and an F there, So that pitch percussion has a definite pitch. Like you can't change it really unless you're on timpani. But like you have a pitch that is assigned to that drum and that is what you play. Now, unpitched percussion, this is kind of where it gets to a gray area. So pitch percussion is like it has a note name. Unpitched percussion, we just kind of go, that's a high pitch, that's a low pitch, Yeah. It can be notated 1,000 different ways. There's not really a set way to notate percussion music. I've seen, you have no idea how much I've seen. It can just be written in so many different ways, and then unpitched, they can write it in different manners to say, we want that to be high, we want that to be low. It just depends on what the composer was feeling that day,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice. Moving right along. Oh, do you have a favorite and a least favorite percussion instrument?
Oh, my favorite is the drum set, though. A close second favorite is the cowbell.
Oh my gosh.
Though my least favorite, and Miss Feder knows this quite well, is the marimba. I am not a fan of really any of the pitch like keyboard percussion instruments. Those are so hard to play, though.
They're so pretty.
Yeah, they are, but I can't play them. And I have to spend a lot more time on that. Like, drums come easy to me. Like, I can just say, oh, you want me to do this? Okay. If you put me on a marimba, I'm going to need 3 hours to figure out where middle C is.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Yay, okay. So that's the end of our serious questions. So before we get to the funnies, which I know Bradley would appreciate the funnies, because he's a very funny guy.
I'm a fun guy,
Oh, well, okay. I would like, or would you be willing to play a little bit for us of something?
I would. Just tell me when to stop.
Okay, I will, let's say like...
A minute?
Minute, a little over, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. All right, I'm going to switch the microphones again. So
okay.
Fair warning. We're alive. We're good. table.
Huh.
That's really what that's for. It's a table. All right, here we go.
Yay! That was awesome. So this is another question. I know somebody asked this in class. I don't remember who, but why is there an open circle in some of the symbols and not in others?
And that's not just in symbols. You'll see that in triangle as well. So that is to denote, it specifically, in most cases, is for the hi-hat symbol. So this guy right here. It's to denote closed. So closed, meaning the symbols are closed. You can kind of see there's no space. Open, which really doesn't mean you open it all the way. Usually it means you have just a little bit of a gap so you can get this nice sizzle. Something like that.
No, okay, that's really cool. I meant like the symbol behind you.
Oh!
The hole in the middle.
Oh, the hole in the middle.
Yeah.
No, that's just how you mount it. That's just so a symbol stand. That's how a symbol stand holds up the symbol. And so all symbols will have a hole, and then that hole can go bad too. That is what denotes the end of life of a symbol usually.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. So we've got about 3 minutes left for the funnies.
Oh boy.
Are you ready?
I'm sitting down. Are you sitting down?
No.
Oh, I'm Bradley. No.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So John is coming at us with the funny questions every time. So John asks, has a person ever died eating a bass drum?
Not that I know of, but I did have a friend who was run over by a gong, and that's a true story.
You serious?
Yeah, it was a marching band rehearsal, and in high school, and we're done with the rehearsal 9 o'clock, and we have to go load our semi trailer up to go to our competition the next day, and so I was on like a riser for a drum set, and I fold up the back part of it, and I'm getting ready to move, and I hear this thud, and it's got this kind of metallic sound to it, like a gong. And so I look over, and this kid, we called him T-Money, his name was Tyler. I look over, and I see 2 pairs of shoes sitting underneath laying, I see the legs and the whole, it hit him smack in the back. I still don't know how it happened, but it's one of my favorite stories to tell. He got up and was laughing. He's like, it was just such a silly thing to happen.
Oh my gosh. See, that's why we don't mess with the gong if I'm not in the room, guys.
No, don't mess with the gong. That's expensive.
Yeah, thank you. Tell them that, because I mess with it too much.
Stop it!
Okay, Trey asks, another gong question. What happens if you hit the gong too hard with Dino Nuggies?
Well, let's see here. So Dino Nuggies, those are pretty soft. So if you hit your gong with some Dino Nuggies, I'm afraid you're not going to have Dino Nuggies anymore, but you're just going to have Nuggies. That's all I got.
It'll be smushy.
Yeah, it would be squishy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, I don't know why this isn't a funny question, but Drew asked, what was the loudest percussion instrument? I don't think he meant that as a funny question.
I don't think he did either, but if you're just talking about one, it's probably a marching snare drum. So those are the deep ones, and they actually have a drum head made out of Kevlar. So those are loud. Wear earplugs around those, please. Trust me.
They're really loud.
They are really loud. Yes.
Okay. Manny asks, can you eat and drink a donut?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you eat and drink a donut? So you've got a solid donut and a liquid donut while playing percussion while also free falling. So let me think about this, Manny. So you are eating a donut, you've got a liquid donut, you're falling through the sky, and you're also trying to play percussion. Bradley, could you do it?
How do you have a liquid donut?
That's the real question right there.
No, but that does sound like the old joke about the snare drum, the bass drum, and the cymbals fall off the cliff. What sound do they make when they hit the bottom? Ba-doom. Thank you. I can hear the uproarious laughter.
Oh, absolutely. Parker asks, do you have to make special symbols for the little monkeys, the ones that go boop boop?
So those are actually our real symbols, believe it or not. We were just talking about that. They're called zills, and they actually come from belly dancers. I actually just had to purchase a pair for a musical. So.
Wow. What musical?
I'm playing Something Rotten, which is a very hilarious show about William Shakespeare. But it's not Shakespeare in the way you would think it would be. It's very funny.
Nice. All right. The last one, and then Bradley, I'm going to let you do the dramatic reading of Mallory's.
Oh my gosh. I think we need another friend of ours to do the dramatic reading.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that'd be so much fun.
Yes.
Okay, so how much force do the instruments take to play from the lips?
Well, if you're playing a drum with your lips, I think something has gone horribly wrong.
Yes, it has. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready? Or should I do it?
Do you want me to start and you'll finish it?
Okay, so before we do that, do you have anything to say, like, to our 8th graders or to our rising 8th graders, our current 7th graders, about getting involved in music?
Do it. It's fun. You'll get to go cool places. Just because I've been involved in music throughout when I was in high school and college, I've played a couple NFL stadiums, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. I played the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. I played Ohio State's football stadium. University of Toledo. That's about it for football. For basketball, with different pep bands like the University of Dayton. I've played at the Washington Wizards Arena in Washington, D.C. I've traveled, and not even just with going to sports places. I've been to Dallas, Texas, and Reno, Nevada just with band. So band is a very cool thing. You'll meet your lifelong friends. You'll get to go to cool places, you get to eat good food, and sometimes you get paid to do it, and that's just the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae.
I'm sure. Nice. Yeah. All right, any closing thoughts before we read Mallory's funny story?
No, I don't really have any. Do you have any, Miss Fetter?
No, I don't. That was really awesome. So thank you, Mr. Bradley. Mr. Bradley.
Mr. Bradley, that's my father. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Let's just say every other sentence. Are you ready? I'll start.
Okay, I'll do what I can. It's really small over here.
It is really small. Okay.
Yes.
Backstory of the Percussion Family by Mallory. Okay. Long ago, 2 people named Vibraphone and Xylophone met.
They met each other at the high school called Instrument Family Learning Institution.
Xylo, being the most popular girl in her class, never gave a second thought to Vibro, who was weird and nerdy.
Eventually, one day Xylo stumbled in a large, scary forest. That sounds like a line from a musical.
It really did.
Is that Spamalot, I think? Anyway, go ahead.
Into the woods.
Oh, yeah, that would have been the low-hanging fruit right there. Maybe the low-hanging tree branch. Go ahead.
Okay. She didn't know where to go and eventually got lost.
It became night, and still there was no sign of her.
The people of the
that's a comma. No, it's a period. Go ahead. We have degrees in music. We don't have degrees in English. Go ahead, Miss Fetter.
The people of the IFLI became so worried, but only one person knew what to do.
Vibro went into the forest and came out carrying the unconscious Xylo.
The school awarded Vibro a 1-year scholarship, and the 2 started dating.
Oh my. This is like a love story.
I know.
After they graduated, they got married and had a lot of beautiful children.
Piano is the oldest child, and the drum is the second oldest.
I have an issue with that statement, but
Why?
anyways, the end. I'm pretty sure drums came before pianos.
Oh no, drums are definitely the oldest instrument family.
Yeah, exactly. Like people are hitting on the walls with what do you think of when you think of a caveman? You think of them beating on a wall. Like that's percussion. So yeah. Sorry, drums are always the oldest. We're the best. Better than the cello. Sorry, Miss Fetter. It's just the truth.
Whatever. Okay. Well, thank you, Bradley. This is so awesome.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. Bye.